Key RAYNET, seeking RAYNET. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf and Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news, opinions and information, and additional information can be found on the RAYNET-UK www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed all message. All calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited to look into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent, please make it clear check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, please do try again. I will call for any strays, that's people who've missed their turns after the UK and international sections. So, as usual, I'll start taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity in call sign number order. Stations with a figure 8 in their call sign wishing to check in, please call now. This is G. Golf
Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Echo Yankee, good afternoon. The rates, please. 34 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. So let's have 7s. Only stations figure 7 in their call time. G4 and RC, over. G78, Golf Echo Hotel.
Mike 7. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. In and out today, please. Just to let you know, the fusion link it doesn't seem to be working today. Mike 7, I'll put.
G4 and RC, so that's good afternoon, Graham. Golf 7 November Echo Hotel. Thanks for running the stream today, Graham. And Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, copied in and out. Also copied Fusion link down. I did see you do some blipping up earlier. I'll play a message and see if he knows what's going on. Okay, any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please. G4 and RC.
Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. My name is Chris, in and out.
Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. Good afternoon, Chris. Copied you in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC. Let's have 5. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, then it's 4. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please. Over.
G4 Somerset, in and out today, please.
G4RC, 3 Uniform Romeo copied in and out. Phil Golf Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, would you like to try again? I got no audio from you, just verbal over. Is G4HUF Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. Good afternoon, Greg. Any better? G4HUF, yeah, loud and clear that time. Thank you, Phil. Okay, any other fours, please? G4 and RC, over. Yeah, G4, IV. Yeah, please, Greg. G4 and RC. Good afternoon, John. Golf 4 Romeo Echo Victor, and copied you in and out. Let's try for the 3. Stations figure 3 in there. Call time, please. Go ahead. RC, over. Golf 3 Victor, Echo Hotel. Nearest patrol point in East Cornwall. Beginning around this afternoon, Greg. Golf 3 Victor, Echo Hotel. Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel. Good afternoon, Chris. Hopefully the unpacking is still going well. And copied you in and out. Any other 3s, please? Stay over. For an RC, over the 2s, any stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate 2s. Please call now. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, second call for any 2s, including the intermediate 2s. Please call now. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, stations figure 1 in their call sign, please. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, second call for any stations figure 1 in their call G4 and RC, let's go from Mike 0, Mike. Options of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4 and RC, over. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra Crew, Mike Tower. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, and Drew. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over? And let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4 and RC, over. Golf Whiskey Juliet Lima X-ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy. RAYNET temperature. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over. GW0JLX. Good afternoon. You can listen to double digits for the call-ins and copied you in and out. Is anybody waiting to call in from the UK? Any UK stations who've missed their turn to call RAYNET-UK activity period? Please call now. G4 and RC, over.
D4 KIL. A Lima for you, over.
For Kilo India Lima. Good afternoon, Philip. Got you that time. international liaison stations of any of our colleagues from other countries, such as Note-Band of Norway, Ireland, Aries and Slovakia. For an RC, over.
William Alpha 6 India, my name is Hans, wishing you a pleasant summer holiday.
6 India, Mike, Chief for NRC. Good afternoon, Hans. Good to hear you. Are you staying with us or just in and out? Just a quick query, because it's not... Lima Alpha 6 India, Mike, Chief for NRC, over.
Chief for NRC, no, it's going to be in and out, but I'm going to listen through.
Lima Alpha 6 India. For that, Hans, I've got you showing us in and out. So, any stations are national or international, UK or abroad, waiting to join the RAYNET-UK activity period, please call now, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, okay, nothing heard. So, good afternoon everybody. A reminder today's net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by 7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube. If you like the output, there is a button specially for that called the like button. If you want to get the podcast, then please subscribe to his channel. Following last week's announcement of our colleagues in DARC in Germany becoming part of the warning and informing chain to the public, it was little surprise that Switzerland plans to close their FM broadcast networks by the end of this year in favour of a full switch to DAB plus digital. Given our own slow moves to Radio 4 long wave to FM radio in a national power outage scenario, I'm just wondering what people listen to get their news. Friedrichshafen Ham radio show last weekend attracted 11,300 visitors from 58 across the 3 days of the fair. Emergency communications was well represented again by the DARC at national and local levels for them. What was more apparent this year was that while they were still getting lots of interest working concepts to support the public, each region in Germany is being encouraged to use their local club frequencies and voice FM for any initial response, maintaining, if you like, the baseband comms provision. Going further afield, Hurricane Beryl Caribbean with our colleagues in Mexico having asked for 7128 kHz to be kept clear. That's 7128 kHz to be kept clear while the storm affects. And the American Hurricane WatchNet is still active daily on 14.325 MHz. That's 14.5. And finally, for those up in the microwave area for data, new firmware has been produced for Arden nodes. That's Romeo Echo Delta November. Is available for anybody who wants to keep their devices on the bleeding edge. I'm just wondering if anybody's checked how far backwards this stays compatible. So with that, let's go around the list and see before the Grand Prix finished, or somebody might tell me it already has done. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. Resisting the urge to speak like that Sky night presenter, Patrick. Yeah, okay. 16 centigrade, fairly flat, 1009 millibars. Even more cloud cover. 8-mile-an-hour wind from 289 degrees. And it's been pretty wet for the last few days. My main tack really is listening to Radio 4 VHF. I do not have any DAB, because DAB where I am is good. And it's interesting to note that a number of radios that you can buy, both DMR and FM, quite often have VHF broadcast band on them that have DAB. So you can't use a handheld and then say, oh, I'll have a quick listen, see if there's anything on the news. Yeah, not so good from that point of view. From G8EEY.
8 Echo Echo for NRC. Yeah, it was a point from the articles I was reading on the Swiss that most cars in their markets have now got DAB provided. But there was a counterpoint that India is actually asking mobile phone providers to put FM radio reception on phones, which those with longer memories will recall that was perfectly able to be done. Depended on wired headphones, which we could then use as an antenna. So yes, our own radios are FM analog built in, and Merseyside RAYNET used that fairly successfully with the for promoting the use of some of those analog radios to provide and FM awareness raiser capability in their county. Okay, next to Graham, let's see what comments we've got, if any, so far on the YouTube channel. November Echo Hotel, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G728, yeah, good afternoon, Greg. I think it's still the next round because I'm just away from the computer at the moment. Yeah, not a lot to add from this end, really. We'll catch you on the next round. G4 and RC, G728.
7 and the 8 and RC. Okay, well, thanks for running the net last week together with Dave, Graham. Appreciate you had a survey, but at least the main messages got out for the list, which was good. Okay, next to Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4 and RC, over.
This is Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, or HUF. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to everybody else on the net. Yeah, section, I'll say, Greg. Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, well, the prime reason for me being definitely making the effort to be on this afternoon is purely and simply because I managed to squeeze in a few minutes this week playing with a second DMR, and if this transmission is working, which the indications are that it is, then it means that I've got both handhelds up and running after a fashion. Still a lot more to be done to play with them, because I've got one young man in my group who seems to be concentrating on using DMR simplex. So I need to sort out that side of things future. But if this audio and transmission is working well, it means I've got both handhelds operational, which very satisfying under the circumstances. G4 correction, yeah. See, this is G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4 and RC returning. Spotted a Bain Valley member signing up to the server for the RAYNET-UK talk group while I was away. So I can see you've got some increasing DMR here is, as usual, Wi-Fi on one front, if you can go on two or more. One is that my Radio Oddity mobile radio or space station radio firmware upgrade, which will bring encryption to that radio. So I need to pull that on and see if whatever glitch it is that stops me communicating with Graham's repeater. The other one is another DMR server on the Arden servers I've got slowly growing at this location, so that we can a truly independent network should we need it in Cheshire, courtesy of some microwave links, or at least that's the idle idea. But I'll be sharing this mystery a bit closer, just to see if we can make it work, and then have it fail over towards or connect to the main RAYNET-UK server as well. So yeah, now I'm back and mostly unpacked. It'll be hitting the big wish list of things to be done next. And having mentioned DMR, it must be time for Drew. Some services to come from here, Drew, but I decided to have a back into local systems here for more software installs. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Chief 4, and I'll see you over. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, M0 MFS, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, M0 MFS. Greg, are you reading me this time?
Loud and clear that time, Drew.
Sorry about that. I'm watching the Grand Prix and obviously I goofed that. Yes, so just a quick update on 24.4. The previous idle firmware had a made with new tunnels that needed a reboot, which is why 24.6 was released so near the first one. So if you're running 24.4, it's 6. If you haven't got the 24.4 yet, I don't know. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. My nodes 4.6, apart from the super node and the gateway node, which actually are on the nightly builds, the requirement for super nodes. I have managed to get up another link into Scotland, into the continent, so we do have a connection to the rest of the world while we wait for issue to be resolved. And very interested in what you're doing with DMR. Other than that, I'll wait for M0 MFS.
Mike 0, Sierra, G4 and RC, rediscovering the art of small finger typing. Biting off way too much from myself to chew, to be fair, and putting servers up. But I'm figuring if we've got lots of things here, then it's lots of things for people to play with. And so the XMPP Java server should be relatively quick. HB Link 3 should also be relatively quick, because I've kind of wimped out. I could run some things nicely on the Western Digital network file storage device that's been repurposed into being a server rather than being a secure beforehand. But because that has been a little difficult to do some things on, there's now Raspberry Pi Zero sat alongside, which can also run some mischief. So I had hoped to make myself a little bit of a tunnel device to get back into my home network from Friedrichshafen, but ran out of time beforehand, and then enthusiasm while I was there. So we will get back to it ASAP. Okay, thanks for clarifying the reason why we've had an update and good news on the room. And I'm not seeing Steve get the radio head on fully yet before pinging him. Philip, you finish this round. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC from G. Greg. For some reason, Greg, I seem to get some dropouts on your signal. I'm not listening to anybody else's. A little bit of yours, so if that's something I don't know what it is. Interesting, it has the difficulty getting this. Both times I called in on your first round, I did call in, I counted to 10 or whatever it was, and then called in after your first call. And much the same when you the second time on the G4s. I'm still didn't get in. So thanks for coming back and offering another one. Apologies for getting onto the HF net earlier. I sort of hoped I might be able to do something a bit funny for me. I hoped that again, we're using a remote control to a flex radio. The clash of the family thing today, so I didn't make it. Hopefully, maybe next week. One other thing to mention, we had our meeting I mentioned last week on the net here that we were having a meeting, online meeting this month on Tuesday, and we had Colin from it was lovely, and we'll encourage folks to join in with other people's monthly meetings if they have a similar from time to time. It's a nice bit of a bit of cross interest, as it were. I also mentioned about I think some months. Well, I mentioned a bit last week, and also still thinking about sort of loop antennas for HF and moving to and on. The probably the best thing is to get antenna analyzer for myself. Went to go and look at some a shop who does both loop antennas and antenna analyzers. Didn't buy anything this time round, but still I think moving in the direction of get the analyzer and build my own. I think it'd be easier to get something for 60 meters to do that. I think that's it for this time round. G4 NRC, G4 KO.
G4KIL, G4 NRC. Okay, right. I've actually stopped my HF station transmitting because I just had after the HF net, I put the station onto JS8 call on 40 meters just to see how bad the propagation was, and it was bad. Very messy conditions. The HF mailing list later. But while I was away, I was looking for alternative antennas myself. The 54-foot long wire is good. It does the job. Certainly does the job. Just getting tempted to think about maybe lengthening the wire 3DP to get a bit more power out. But I know that, effective radiator power out, but that will bring me a lot more noise in. Drains my space because, as you've mentioned, loop antennas. I'm saying Beetlejuice one more time and I'll do it. My neighbour has left space between fences. Didn't like looking at the back of my fence, but has put their own fence up a little bit inside of it. So I was wondering about putting a very low delta loop down at fence height to see how that performed on receive, which would be totally invisible to them. Evil thought we could just do with some summer now to actually make it happen. Right, with that, doing fine for time, so I'll go back and see what we've got for everybody for a second round. Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, GRC over.
G4 NRC 8 EEY. Yes, I must admit I've suspended most radio research here at the moment. I've made the, from my point of view, unwise decision for a Windows 11 computer. And whilst I really didn't like, I can safely say I really hate Windows 11. There's too much Microsoft in there, moving stuff around. Which is all very well if you have fixed setups, but obviously with our type of communication, files to files, rather rapidly, and it doesn't work for that. One way I must admit, I come on the activity net, I've always got the Pi-Star dashboard up. I'm doubling to see if somebody else's call sign comes up instead of mine, and I must admit, I generally don't feel very comfortable operating with just a radio without a dashboard at the same time, which might be a bit limiting out in the field, but there we go. So the only thing I would say with loops, as far as I'm aware, needs to be decent-sized copper piping, and all the joints need to be silver soldered, not soft soldered. You want really good. The residual resistance in the loop is very important, and you need to get it as low as possible. So thank you, Gray. Glad you enjoyed Pheonix Harbour. I hope you didn't spend too much there. G8 EEY.
8 Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC. Oh, let's see in reverse order. I came back with absolutely nothing, not even a magazine, so that it was slightly easy to solve. In terms of dashboards, mostly for net control purposes, when we were having the bridges between the RAYNET-UK server and Brandmeister, I now have the main RAYNET-UK dashboard up, but then a lot of it is obscured by the clock and a second simplified view of whoever's calling from my simplex hotspot. You can see the at least the bridge is working when I see my call sign appear in both parts of the screen. What is watching the clock tick by on the computer and on the simplex Pi Star that's the Brandmeister, and see just how they're just a little fraction. If I can notice it, it's not as aligned as it should be, which is a bit concerning, but nothing that would affect JS8 call or any of the timed modes. With regard to yeah, that's right, if you're talking magnetic loops, but if you're talking about bigger wire loops like the 150-foot horizontal loop we used to have around the property, then it's that compromise, you're quite right, between if it's physically small, then the resistance does need to be kept down. Anyway, thanks. Talk to you on the next. I think we've got con before then. So, around to Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4 and
G4 and RCG 728. Yep, afternoon again. So the viewers for last week on the net was a total of 32 views, and today we've had 11 views, 12 views so far, and there's 4 concurrently viewing with 2 likes. So that's the YouTube stats. Just a comment on the Arden nodes. I've just checked my node and it is running the updated it last week. And whether Drew can add any insight to this, but I've now got Mesh Chat and Mesh Map and the Raspberry Pi, but I'm not. It doesn't seem to be connecting to the Arden network, either of them. I can add Arden node, but I've got no data coming up on screen when I click the button. And as far as I know, I've followed all the instructions to do what you need to do, obviously including putting the mesh chat on the Arden node. So there we go. Okay, with that, back to you, Greg. G78.
the HG4 and RC. Okay, yeah, we discussed that before I went away, didn't we? So Mesh Chat and Mesh Map running perfectly on a Pi, able to be accessed from local network, just not talking to other nodes. Basic resource that could be applied to solve that problem would be useful, and give him some relief, because I think you've had to get this for many days now. Otherwise, thanks for running the stream today, and glad that people are still finding it useful. Phil, what just occurred to me about the DMR simplex is that Mike M1 DDN of my group, the county, has always been keen on doing DMR simplex and DMR. Not many repeaters in his actually are able to connect through onto 23531 Pheonix and Brandmeister. I don't think we've tried a direct DMR simplex contact yet, but it is something that I can do from here. Repeaters on the far side of Manchester with DMR, so yeah, it's something to look into. G4HUF, G4 and RC over.
This is G4HUF. Yeah, okay, well, that's interesting.
GDN, that name rings bells, but I can't think from not to worry. Yeah, it's a case of my only radio playtime is basically occasionally 5 minutes with the DMR stuff to sort rest and get a better understanding of it. I mean, ironically, I've set things up in such a fashion that if you look carefully, there's a member on the RAYNET DMR server who's a member of Northampton RAYNET. A great mate of mine. We've known each other for a very, very long time. It'd be handy to have that as an option if we needed to communicate direct. We've not done anything with it. But there again, I've still got a lot to do around this bloody house. Painfully slow progress as far as that's concerned, so that's another good reason for not doing too much radio work. And there's plenty of things as far as the radios are concerned I'd love to do. Quick one for you, which just occurred to me. Martha, who's the one that you probably spotted standing up onto the radio, asked me a lot of intelligent questions over the last week or so. And it occurred to me that some sort of welcome or introduction notes ought to be an ideal thing for new members. And I just wondered what the score is with other groups, whether they've got anything like that or not. So on that particular point, I still... Oh, by the way, I'm back on the first handheld now, so you've heard both. I presume that there's no difference in the transmit quality. G4 NRC, this is G4HUF.
Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4 NRC. No noticeable difference between the audio on the two handhelds filled, so that's not a problem at all. I'm glad you've got them both working. I'm not sure if other groups do a welcome pack. Certainly wasn't, and like you say, ought to or should do is the nice kind of thing to say. I've got it in the log. I shall try and remember and ping it around, which is next week. No, not this up. It's a week on Monday even. I guess if there's any wider input to that one. But if you've got the questions he's asked and could just summarise them in a spare 10 seconds, then it'd be useful to see what he's asking, because one of the problems with questions post is that you don't see how frequently some of the questions get put up. House building, or rebuilding even, hopefully those supervise your rebuild. You're not hitting as many snags as my neighbour is, who's now about 4 weeks into having the front of his house rebuilt, but in a more planned manner than yours. And I'm just looking at some other workmanship and rolling my eyes to supervise. But hey ho, builders is what builders is. Right, yeah, if you can drop me those questions, would be interested in seeing. And Michael Delta November is because he was the East Cheshire RAYNET controller for a while before it merged into Dave Valley. Right, with that, we've got 2 left to run on the net, so 7-3. Drew, round to you. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC.
G4 RC, M0 MSC. Yeah, I had a quick look at Graham's issues. Mesh map, you failed to get working the version that I also failed to get working. And I ended up going for the Docker containerized version. It's all based on the same code, but it's somebody else, and that works fine. And the version that you tried, like I said, I also tried and had exactly the scenario. It runs, but it doesn't talk to anything. And I gave up on that. On the
is weird because your mesh chat looks absolutely fine. It's publishing and everything, but clearly it's not replicating to any of the other mesh chats. I haven't done anything with mesh chat since I got mine working, so I need to go back and look at exactly how it communicates and see if I can see anything for you there. So if I see anything, I'll drop you an email. Other than that, the net growth, lots of potential, unfortunately very little time. From M0MFF.
Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC. Yeah, and there's also little bits of rain stock to play as well. So, garden stuff I've got here, like the little square panel node things I've got, are what there's lots and lots of on the German truck trade mesh deployments. So it's like I'm just going around the stand going, I have these, I just haven't had time to play with them because of summer or time or something else. So probably focusing more on getting some apps running, and then at least I'll have something to talk to on the day I do actually get some wide area mesh network. So thanks for the quick inspiration passed back to Graham on MeshMap, and if you do get any inspiration on Mesh Chat, then I'm sure he'll appreciate hearing it. It's been a frustration, and we both tried before I went away with pinging servers and seeing that everything was reachable. Okay, final one on the list for today then is Philip. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G4. Yeah, thanks for the comments, people on loops. Interestingly, I will understand about needing to get the low resistance. Interesting is that what had attracted me to the idea of having a go myself was the suggestion, which seems to be a number of videos on YouTube. And one of the best ways to do it is use plastic pipe and put aluminium foil around it, which is relatively easy. If I want to get 60 meters, I think I need to get to a 8-foot loop or square, which is bigger than the more commercial loops. So that was a comment there. Won't hold it anymore, and I'll wait for comments to come back. Perhaps next week on that, as to what people's views on that. Craig, speak to you next week. D4RC, P4KIL.
KIL, G4 and RC returning. Okay, yeah, I'm still doing my kind of research, but I've still got copper pipe that was meant to turn into a tri-band J-pole at one point, so to loop doesn't really appeal yet. I've still got the VHS side to figure out. But yeah, I think I've seen what you're talking about in foil. Okay, but not really heading for where I think Mike was talking about, which is the large magnetic loop. I have something like a couple of inches worth of exhaust pipe bent around into the big loop form, so you've got the thickness and the low conductivity, high conductivity, and no joints, so getting any losses in, which is what he was aiming for. But another look at those YouTube videos, because I think I know the one you mean. Okay, we've hit Q2 near enough, and the Grand Prix is finished, but I'm not giving any spoilers. You can all go and find out the results for yourself. Everybody for taking time out of their schedules today to participate in the RAYNET-UK activity net on Pheonix and Brandmeister 23531 and RAYNET-UK 50233531. Until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the activity period and return being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is Golf 4, November Romeo Charlie now closed, and reversing to my normal call sign at Golf 0.